great young player who I've really seen make a very, very big strides. Not so much in his physical game, Phil, but in the way he's handled himself emotionally. A much better player than the neck up.
Able to get it to carry. The 7-pin kicks out. So a nice shot to start off this first match from Bryon Smith. Danny Wiseman, his first shot, 12 years out here on tour, 5'9", 165 pounds, 31 years old. Puts it in there, but not to be. Leads one.
Well, Philly came in just a little bit high, and really a quality opening shot. Danny Wiseman, no stranger to bowling on television, has the highest winning percentage of anybody in the history of the tour as far as wins and losses on TV.
Wiseman, 29 and 12 with a 227 average and 19 appearances on television. Picks up the single pin spare, no problem. Wiseman recently had eye surgery on both eyes. Used to wear glasses, then contacts, and now, boy, just amazing.
Yeah, LASIK eye surgery is what he went through. Dr. Terrence O'Brien performed on August 13th and at the Wilmer Eye Institute, and really helped out Danny.
Wiseman up in the second frame. Nice extension. Oh, yeah, all of them. Wiseman comes right back after that opening spare with a strike.
Look at that beautiful arm swing, shoulder high, and really reaches, as you said, Phil. That helps get the ball down the lane before it makes the charge back into the pocket. Beautiful looking swing.
Smith up in the second frame. A little soft, leaves that 4-pin. No player has won from the 5th spot on our telecast in 1998. He's trying to perhaps run the table and break that jinx. Got a couple tough guys coming up.
See the ball coming in just a little high, Phil, and does not get the trip of the 4-pin. And I was watching Bryon. The last 3 shots he threw on the right-hand lane in practice, he went through the nose. So he's made an adjustment, moved himself a little deeper on the lane. Made a good shot, just didn't quite carry.
He's cashed in 9 out of 20 events. Goes straight and hard at it. Picks up the spare. We're dead even. 20s for both players in the opening frame. Nice to have you by here. Marshall Holman along with Phil Ferguson.
See the hard and straight for the 4-pin. That's the way that 99% of the pros out here play it. You really don't need to hook the ball to single pin. You know, I watched Bryon last night in the game, the 41st game, the game before the last one. He threw an open in the 10th frame. He needed to strike in order to make the telecast, and what a great shot he threw to get here today.
Worked his way up the ladder, got down. You don't see that very often, but when you play the extreme outside line, it's going to happen.
Well, that's one of the perils of swinging the ball. He's starting the ball out around the 15th board, trying to get it out to about 2, but watch this. This ball goes right. Really only missed his target at the arrows by probably 2 boards. Magnified once it got down the lane, and boy, when I talked about having a better mental game, he's going to have to use all of it right now.
Well, it really hurts. That was on a spare.
You just don't want to give Wiseman that kind of an opening down early.
Comes right back with a beautiful shot, so has to get all 10 down for the spare, but does that in the 3rd frame, and going to take a drink and sit back and take a look at the situation as Danny Wiseman now up in the 3rd frame.
Well, he was given a courtesy 10-pin lead. A strike here will make it 20.
Wiseman jumps on it. Danny ranked 12th by the PBA. Once again, you had mentioned his winning percentage, 707, best in the history of the PBA. Wiseman with an early lead.
I'd have taken a 500 percentage, but I guess it's too late for that.
I didn't want to start on your TV record, I thought. Finished first earlier this year in Portland, also finished 4th in the National Finance Championship in Virginia Beach. Takes a deep breath, trying to make it 3 in a row. Just about perfect. Smile from Danny, and Wiseman has the lead here in the opening match of the Bay City Classic. Back with more in just a minute. And we're back at Bay Lanes, and Bryon Smith, after that gutter, came back and got the spare, and now is up in the 4th frame.
And Bryon wanted to say hi to his wife, Mariah, who wasn't able to make it to the telecast, but I know she's watching right now, probably with Bryon's folks.
Smith up in the 4th. Better stroke, and still leads the 4-pin.
He's getting close, but Danny Wiseman is doing nothing but striking. He's got 3 in a row. Right now it's a 31-pin lead. If you take a look at the ball, just a little bit high in the pocket, and boy, a little bit higher, he might have tripped out the 4-pin.
Just finished this year, 15th. PBA National Championship, a biggie out here on tours. He picks up the spare. You know, he told me that he admired or basically patterned his game after a couple of great players, David Husted from Milwaukee, Oregon, and also David Ozio. So a couple of great players. If you're going to kind of pattern your game after someone, he took a little bit from both players.
Well, both players with very picturesque games, really pretty players to watch, you know, with very fluid motion.
So Smith up in the 5th frame, got to get it going, down by 31. Kind of flatten it out.
Boy, and now he's got himself in all sorts of trouble. Phil, the 2, 8, and the 10. Last time Bryon made a telecast, he struggled and pulled a poor game. And right now, he's in trouble again. This ball just does not make the turn soon enough back into the pins. And when the ball comes back from that far out, very, very likely you're going to leave the 2-10 combination. All you can do is just get 2 of them.
That's what he does. So he's struggling here midway through the opening game. And you talked about his lone TV appearance before this tournament. Shot a 133 and lost to Jess Stayrook in Windsor Locks, Connecticut last year. So he had told me, though, he was a bit nervous and really couldn't get lined up in that match, and he's having some problems now as Wiseman steps up in the 5th. Wiseman cuts through the middle. Now it's time for Dexter Footwork of the Pros. Here's my partner, Marshall Holman.
Well, as we take a look at Danny Wiseman, he starts the ball very low, and he starts the ball in motion early on his first step. Takes long steps, he's got a long arm swing. Still slides quite a bit, not as much as he used to.
As he goes for the spare, able to get that, and that is Dexter's Footwork of the Pros. The slide, a little reminiscent of Marshall Holman.
Like, especially when Danny first came out, his game looked quite a bit like mine with the fast feet and the long slide.
Then he figured I better change it if I'm going to win.
He has, and he is.
Marshall Holman, winner of 22 titles, PBA Hall of Fame. Wiseman up in the 6th frame, still a comfortable. And pick out that 10-pin. He's able to do that. So strikes in the 6th frame.
And very important for Danny to keep momentum, even though he's got this game fairly well in hand. Take a look at this ball as it comes right into your living room. Starts making the break about 45 feet and kicks out the 10 nicely.
So Wiseman up 43. Smith trying to figure it out.
Now he can still shoot 225 if he can strike out. And boy, a ringing 10 for Bryon. And he shakes his head and he knows that he's in big trouble right now. Still, he did so well to make it to the top 5, but right now it's nothing but struggles.
He's bowled well on this TV pair up to now, averaging 235 this week over 4 games. Down by 43 as he tries to pick up the 10-pin. And once again, Marshall, I mentioned no player has won from that 5th spot on our telecast this year. It doesn't look like it's going to happen.
Well, it doesn't look good right now. With strikes in the 7th through the fill, it's 215 for Bryon Smith. And kind of an interesting little stat here. Danny Wiseman, he qualified 7th. Bryon Smith qualified 9th in this tournament as far as their total pinfall. But they both were able to win a lot of games. So in match play, 30 bonus pins, very important in order to getting themselves to the telecast.
Living dangerously on the edge, able to bring it back for the strike. So Bryon Smith came awfully close to the channel as you take a look at it. And, whoa, the left turn signal put on, and here it comes back with a finish of this opening match in just a minute. And back to finish out this opening match, and Danny Wiseman has things under control. 7 consecutive match play appearances. That leads the sets it in the pocket. He doesn't want to be thinking about the next match quite yet, but he's got this one in hand. What goes through your mind as a player when you have a match pretty well in hand?
Well, he's trying to keep the momentum going. You know, it's important that he continues to make good shots, because as quickly as you can find the line, you can also lose it. So very important. Keep your composure. Don't worry about what your opposition is shooting right now, because you do have another game to be bowled.
Wiseman up in the 8th frame. Great crowds here all week long. Leaves the 2-8. The 8 fell. 8 almost fell into the 2-pin. Danny wondered what happened. He got to just stay up there. They always say stay up there until all the pins fall.
Take a look as the ball's coming in light. Watch the 8-pin. It's right behind that 2. It gets nudged a little bit, and come on, you can do it. There we go. Almost. It almost knocked into it. And he's fortunate because the 2-pin, a very easy spare. The 2-8, possibility of missing it.
Comfortable lead, 52-pin advantage for Wiseman over Bryon Smith. Smith, 6 years on tour, and that stat reveals a very dismal performance in his only other TV appearance. Got to make some clutch shots and build up your confidence next time you make the show.
And let's not write him off immediately. I mean, I do believe he can shoot 215. With a 215 game, he's still got a chance. Now watch how close the ball comes to the edge. And this is the way a lot of guys were playing the lanes. Bang, right back into the pocket. So taking care of business in the 7th and 8th frames, he still is mathematically alive if he can strike here in the 9th frame. And he knows it.
Smith, very focused.
Didn't get far enough.
Well, that's encouraging for the youngster to throw 3 in a row. Wiseman now has to step up, 32 pins up. Marshall looks like he has a couple Band-Aids on fingers, and
he puts that on his fingers to protect his hand, to make sure that it doesn't get blistered up, and he also has a little rubber device on his index finger as well.
Got a strike. Is that for a better grip of the ball?
It helps him to grip the ball better, and also there's a lot of pressure put on by the index finger, and I know when I used to bowl a lot, I used to get quite sore, so it's done for a dual reason. Danny Wiseman still needs to show up in the 10th frame. If he were to get 9 pins on the next 2 balls, I believe that would turn out to 215, and Bryon Smith could actually get up to 3 strikes with 10th and tie.
All right.
Pins can be made up very, very fast in the game of bowling.
Hope he didn't go away. Stroke through that one, and a solid 10 pins. So Wiseman, work yet to be done. A spare, and he's a winner.
Well, if he gets a spare, then it's over, and you can see Bryon smile, and I don't think he has given himself too much of a chance here. Danny Wiseman missing the very simple 10-pin, but
Wiseman taking some extra time. Needs this spare to shut out Smith and move on to face our defending champion, Amleto Monticelli.
This to shut out the match, and
so Danny Wiseman is the winner of match 1 and will take on Amleto Monticelli in the second match here in the Bay City Classic here at Bay Lanes. As Bryon Smith looks on, he knows that he's got to finish out the match, and should he throw 3 strikes in that 10th frame, he would have 215. But Danny Wiseman with a 226. And Danny Wiseman, the winner